Right, so we've seen the if function in play and how valuable it can be. Let's go a step further. Now we want to talk about the bonus. So the client explained that the monthly goal here is a accumulation of the goals for each week. So that means what they mean is this is the weekly goal, and there is a division here. That's the monthly goal divided by 4. That's going to give us our weekly goal. All right. So how are we going to do this? Let me give this a name. So I would call this weekly goal. Recall, we are not going to put a space in between the names. All right. So now the next thing we want to do is, okay, explain further what you mean by this bonus based on weekly goal. So every week, each person must have hit the weekly goal or exceeded it. So even though the person might have met the monthly goal, if the person does not meet the weekly goal, then that person is not qualified for a bonus. So that means somebody could probably not meet week 1, but the person met up in week 2, week 3, and week 4. But that person is not going to be qualified for a bonus because they didn't make it in week 1. Now, how are we going to achieve this? There are functions we could use for that, but it all depends on the understanding of the logic. So this is it. This person must have met week 1 and week 2 and week 3 and week 4, right? Not just that, and the monthly goal. So that means we have a function called the AND function. So the AND function just gives us this. Week 1, if week 1 is greater than or equal to the weekly goal, right? If it is greater than or equal to the weekly goal, and if week 2 is greater than or equal to the weekly goal, and week 4, just like that. But let's see what this means for us. Let's use the AND function here. Just for one condition, let's test a condition. So we want to say if, let's use the AND. Now, this you might debate or be confused at this point, but just don't worry, we'll get it done. The issue here is you could be reasoning, but an if condition could do this, right? Yes, that's true. An if condition can do this, but if it is just one condition. Now we are dealing with multiple conditions. If function was not written or created for multiple conditions, but there is a hack around it, and that's what we are trying to do. So let's see the and here. So we are saying, and this is greater than or equal to the weekly goal. Let's just use this first. It tells us true. So this is more like what an if statement would say, because this is what an if statement would say. If this is greater than or equal to the weekly goal, so even though I don't write anything and close it, it's going to give me an issue. So I have to put in the condition, right? So if this is going to is greater than or equal to the weekly goal, and I say yes or no, if it is. So you see, it's giving me yes, and this is giving me true. So do you know the real difference, aside the fact that it accepts only one condition in if has its advantage as well, and we are going to see that. So now let's continue with this. This is where multiple conditions come in that if can't handle. I would also say if this that is D5 is greater than or equal to the weekly goal, And if E5 is greater than or equal to the weekly goal, and if F5 is greater than or equal to the weekly goal. And that's not all. If this, which is the I5, equals yes. What do we have here? We have true. And if we drag this down, you will see that we have true, false, false, true, false. And now this is interesting because there is someone who met the monthly goal, but the person did not get a bonus. So if you check, obviously this person did not meet the weekly goal in week one, and the person did not also meet even week two. But for just not meeting in any of these has made the person not qualified for this. So we have people who met their monthly goal, but they did not meet their bonus. All right. So how are we going to do this now? This is just showing me true, false, false, true, false. But we are talking to non-tech savvy people, right? Like non-technical persons. We don't want to show true or false statements here. We want to write something like, oh, this is good for a bonus. Oh, this is not good for a bonus. Or bonus, no bonus. Can we replace this word true with something else that we want with our own desired word? Can we replace the false with our own desired word? We cannot do that using the and function because all we just put into the and function is the logical test. We can't do beyond that. So the result of an and function is either a true or a false statement. This is where if comes in handy. And then I will add if to this. All right. Let's just copy this formula so it's not looking complicated. And let's go to the note. So let's paste this here and let me reduce this. Okay, so what I would do here is recall that we have if, and if the condition, let's say if condition is true, right? Or let's just say if condition or logical tests. If this is a logical test, all right? Now, what is the condition if it is true? We say give the person bonus, right? The person is qualified for a bonus. Now, what is the condition if it is not true? The person is not qualified. So say no bonus. Oh, wow. All right. So now instead of these logical tests, I would delete this and replace it with this and function. I'm not including the equal to symbol, right? So I'm replacing it with this, putting my equal sign here. So I'll copy this now and let's go paste it in our sheets. So if I do this, let's just do this beside it here and press enter. You see, we have bonus, we have no bonus, no bonus, bonus, no bonus. So you see, in place of false, it tells you no bonus. And where it says true, it says bonus. So this is how if statement works. So I will just copy this and replace it with this function, okay? And I would drag it down. So this is how if function works. So it does not just, even though it has its limitation for just one condition, you could still hack through it. And aside that, it helps us to replace the mathematical statement with our own human language. All right, so you could just try this, play around with it, and rewatch this again to get a deeper understanding about it. All right, hope you enjoy it and see you in the next.